This is precision flying, really incredible. Oh, come on, there's an airplane taking off inside of a tunnel. Man, this is the kind of flying I love doing. And the walk of shame. What the hell? I hope these guys get paid a lot of money to do this. What? What's up? I'm Bill Allen, and today we are going to break down some of the craziest Red Bull aviation stunts. And at the end, I'm going to tell you about one stunt that did not go well at all. Before we get started, if you enjoy these videos and want more aviation content, like and subscribe to the channel, please, and share it with a friend who's an absolute daredevil like me. Wind Park Rally. I just love when they do all the rolls and stuff. These planes are fully aerobatic. It's amazing. I'd love to fly one of these. Okay, so it looks like 14 windmills.
Welcome. Here we go.
So this actually looks a lot like the Red Bull air races. They set up these kind of targets or paths to go through, and they're just weaving and bobbing back and through. This is awesome. 90-degree knife edges.
Okay, speed.
This probably pulling 3-4 Gs through here, maybe more.
Very nice.
He's probably somewhere between 50 and 100 feet above the ground, I would think. Maybe 150, but dips down a lot. This is precision flying, really incredible. And a full pull, that's awesome. That looked like a lot of fun. So it looks a lot like the Red Bull air races if you've ever been. This guy obviously was a world champion and went through and nailed this. Probably pulled some solid Gs, had a lot of fun. It was a beautiful day. It was cold, clear day. The one thing that I would say that I would recommend maybe if Red Bull wants to step it up a little bit is actually just turn on the turbines, because then it would make it a lot more fun, and I think it would be step it up to the next level. This looks very much like the Red Bull air races. Let's see what the next one looks like, and I bet it gets like more and more difficult as we go.
Ok, vous pouvez voler sur moi. Ok, j'ai contact avec le mille. Contact avec le mille, c'est bon. Et go.
So I've seen these like parachute kind of suits, like the parachute suits, where they just like jump out and fly like a flying squirrel. And they look like a lot of fun. I've never done this before, nor do I think I would. I'm actually kind of a wuss. I like to fly the helicopter and airplane, not actually jump out of it. So I have no idea what these guys are gonna do, but let's see. It kind of looks like they're gonna like fly, I don't know, maybe into the plane or something. I'm not sure.
Go for entry, go for entry. Ok, on est en approche. Les bits qui s'approchent. C'est bien bas, assez loin. Il s'approche.
It's right now it's like formation with the airplane. What the hell? Holy crap. It looks like that little mattress in there or something. That dude just flew right into the airplane. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely insane. So this thing has literally like a propeller on the front that is spinning around at probably about 2,000 revolutions per minute, 2,000 RPMs, I would guess. My TBM 850 behind me spins at 2,000 to 2,200 RPMs, and that will just like slice your head off. These guys are absolutely insane and flew right in this airplane. That was incredible. You could see the airplane was at kind of a downward pitch. So maybe if maybe they talked about like having some ability to like pull off, but they were flying formation for a while just to probably get the same speed or similar type close rate. So when we ever flew formation in the Navy, it was all about having backup plans and being able to like pull away when we needed to and not run into the other aircraft. So this looked probably somewhat controlled. I bet they practiced a few times, but it looks absolutely nuts. I would never do that. I would fly it. I'd probably fly the airplane. But there's some precision flying that has to happen too. You can't be jerky on the controls. Imagine hitting a bump or two of turbulence around that time. Man, really challenging. That was unbelievable. Really cool. guys are nice.
This is our 17th year of flying as a pair. Every time I fly, I learn something.
All right, so these look like the planes for Red Bull Air Races. So they're approaching pretty quick the hangar that I'm in right now, just like that. And these guys are inverted. I kind of feel like they're gonna like fly through this hangar. Let's see what happens. But these guys are warming up just like I see at the Red Bull Air Races. They're flying in really tight formation. Man, this is the kind of flying I love doing. Smoke on, low altitude. It's like on the ground. Holy crap. Okay, I just have to pause it real quick before they leave the hangar. So I thought the flying squirrel guys were nuts. These guys are absolutely insane. I'm literally in a hangar about the size of what they just flew through. They have two of the Red Bull airplanes in formation, probably about maybe 15 feet apart, wing to wing. And they probably have, I don't know, 15 feet of clearance, maybe 10 between the wheels and the ground. And then another 10 between the top of the prop and the clearance of it. This is massively precise, plus or minus a foot or two. So incredible, like test pilot-esque flying skills for sure. We had to be on condition, on altitude, on airspeed, but I'm one airplane I would have flipped out. Two, this is like, I've never seen anything like this before. Incredible.
Looked across at each other to see that.
It's like Blue Angel like flying, or better, probably better. Wow. All right, after 3 of these, I was right in the beginning. They're just gonna get like crazier and crazier and crazier. This last one, flying 2 airplanes through a barn, I hope these guys have really big life insurance policies because it is, that's just insane flying. So I can only imagine what the next 2 are gonna look like. Let's jump back. I mean, just that takeoff alone, the guy takes off in like 15 feet. These things are unbelievable airplanes. I have no idea what's about to happen, but there's a guy on a dirt bike and an airplane and an active runway. So he's either gonna like fly over the dirt bike. What? Okay. Okay, so a backflipping dirt bike over an airplane. The airplane is probably 2 or 3 feet off the ground. And then that plane is probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 feet high maybe. So this guy's got to flip 15 feet plus and maybe 25 feet in the air to get a 10-foot clearance without getting his head chopped off by the prop. If that airplane runs into that dirt biker, they're both gonna go down. Like that airplane's gonna get knocked off course. It's 2-3 feet off the ground. Its wing's gonna smash, and obviously the guy on the dirt bike's probably got the worst of the 2. I hope these guys get paid a lot of money to do this. Oh, come on. There's an airplane taking off inside of a tunnel. Four-lane road. So what's a lane, like 10 to 12 feet maybe? Maybe 10 feet? 40 feet wide? I wish they had an airspeed indicator showing. So when he comes out, it looks like he has some more clearance up top, but in there where it's like all, angled, he probably had just a couple feet on each side to fly through that thing. Looks like he's coming back around to do it again or something. Oh, now he's screaming. Maybe he's done. Let's see. So I think the adrenaline finally kicked in. He was like really cool, calm, and collected when he came out of there. And then like 30 seconds later, he's screaming. So unbelievable. He took off in there. maintained that altitude, then came back around and flew straight through the tunnel. That's nuts. It's probably, that would look tighter than the actual hangar did, flying through the hangar, although there wasn't a second airplane, but just a couple feet on either side. Like any little bump, any jolt, that guy's dead. He's smashing the wing in, he'll get knocked off course, and that whole airplane's gonna blow up. So there is no room for error. That's way more adventurous than anything that I did as a test pilot flying a helicopter airplane. He's just like casually landing on the road. I would be crying too if I did that, for sure. If anybody knows the training protocol that these guys go through for something like this, can you drop it in the comments? I'd love to know that. Maybe we'll do another video on something like that, because I mean, this guy's had to practice this over and over and over again, from a bigger space down to tighter and tighter spaces, to feel comfortable doing that, I would think. I'd really love to know how they train. All right, here's the one you've been waiting for. There was a stunt that Red Bull did that went not as planned. These other ones, the last 5 that I showed you, they all went as planned, everything was great. This stunt went wrong. It involved 2 pilots that were trying to swap planes mid-flight. Let's watch.
And rotating.
All right, so a couple modified Cessnas are taking off from somewhere out in the desert, out on the West Coast, to fly over some completely barren area. It took about 15 minutes for these guys to climb up. It's probably, they're climbing 500 to 800 feet per minute, climbing up to about 12,000 feet.
Back. Let me know when you're really ready. You ready? Yeah. I'm really ready. Go. Coming down.
Brake coming down. In 3, 2, 1. Brake.
All right, right here, it looks like they have a modified speed brake. So in the T6, the trainer that I flew, we had a speed brake that would slow us down. And what this is doing is going to be able to slow down the aircraft and probably set it up once they shut the airplanes down, that it's going to put it in a position. I know they also have like a modified autopilot that they set up on here to try to get this thing to fly and stay in one position and be ready for them to jump back in.
Down and confirm. Power off.
That sounds like the stall horn.
Diving.
Okay, both pilots jumping out of their plane. There's no pilot in either one of these. So right here, you can actually see the blue airplane is starting to get into a flat spin. So it's not dropping nose down as expected. It's not maintaining just a vertical attitude and flight towards the ground. It actually is starting to pull into a flat spin, which if you've ever watched the first Top Gun, you know what that looks like. The flat spin that they got into, it's basically an inverted spin where this aircraft is just going to spin in a circle. And that's really going to be the problem here. Right there, you can see that propeller is still spinning. So the aircraft's off, the engine's off. However, that prop is windmilling, and it's massively dangerous for that guy to get back in. If he misses the wing or the support there to get back in the aircraft, he's gonna have a bad day. All right, he's recovered there. He's pulling the speed brake back up, getting the airplane started again, and coming into land. You hear that stall horn again right at landing. So the other plane that's just in a flat spin, the engine's out. They got a parachute on that. Here's his cousin parachuting down.
Yep, I'm all good.
And the walk of shame back to the Red Bull helicopter. So didn't work out as they expected, obviously. Let's see what they have to say.
Hey man, that's why we're here where we are.
Yep.
Everybody's safe. Parachute system worked just like it was supposed to.
Yep.
It's a little thing. There's no way to test it until you do it.
And you know what?
Andy's fine.
Yeah, he's still good.
Yeah, he said I could hear him talking to me in free fall.
Yeah.
All right, he said something there that I want to point out. He said, you never know until you test it. So for about 4 years, I was a developmental test pilot for the Navy. So I went to test pilot school. I spent 2 years, 3 years, 2.5, 3 years at Pax River, Maryland, where we tested all kinds of different helicopters. And he's right. We never knew what was going to happen until we actually went out and did it. and we would model it on the ground, we'd model it in software, then we would go out and practice flying it. But until we actually did the mission, we did the thing that we were going to test, we didn't know what was going to happen. But we had a lot of backups. So their backup plan here was they both had parachutes on. There was parachute on both of the airplanes. They were out in the middle of nowhere. They were fine with both of the airplanes crashing into the ground and being destroyed, as long as they didn't lose their lives, obviously. So they probably practiced this over and over, but they never physically jumped out of the airplanes to fly into another one. They never left an aircraft until now, fully unmanned. So until then, you don't know what's gonna happen. It could have been the weight change, so there wasn't anything else in the aircraft. All the seats were out, you could see it was completely trucked out. And when this guy, he's probably, I don't know, 250 to maybe even 300 pounds, when he jumps out, it creates a vector that pushes the airplane in a different direction. His airplane, the one that the bigger guy jumped out of, is the one that went into a flat spin. So it's really hard to tell. I'm sure Red Bull knows what happened, but we don't. I actually tried to find a report on this. All we know is that they tried to go do this. They planned for it. They probably did a lot of testing, hours of preparation, and it just didn't work as planned. So all the Red Bull stunts that we saw in the beginning had to get an exemption or some FAA clearance to actually go do that. Or if they were in other countries, like the one where the guy flew through the tunnel, there's some laws that they have to make sure that they're cleared on. But in this case, the FAA denied their request. So despite that, they decided to just do it anyway. And on April 24th, 2022, they took off from this small airstrip in Arizona. And they climbed up to 12,000, 15,000 feet and jumped out. And while one of them was successful, the other one ran into trouble, obviously, and the plane actually crashed. So the FAA sent them letters and actually described their behavior as careless and reckless so as to endanger the life or property of another. And they revoked both of their flight certificates, their pilot certificates. So I don't know that this was worth it, but I'm sure that they would tell you that they were trying to create history. They were trying to do something that nobody else has done, and maybe to them it was worth it. Honestly, even if they didn't crash and the FAA found out about it, I bet they still would have revoked their pilot certificates for the same reason, careless and reckless, and that they could endanger somebody else, which is true. So all of these things that Red Bull is doing is pushing the boundaries of what's possible. What you see inside of here is actually like developmental tests that have never been done before, and really probably like these makeshift kind of test pilots and folks that are doing something for the first time. Really amazing to watch, but sometimes they go wrong, and we've got to really be careful when we're thinking about that stuff. I loved it. I had a lot of fun watching these, and I really hope that all of these crazy fun stunts go right in the future and none of them go wrong. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with somebody who you think is crazy enough to do a stunt like this.